when I was killed and brought back to life by the spirits, I had to quickly get up to speed with the fact that there actually are spirits and that they do have a say in everyday, normal human life. I had to wrap my head around that fact. I had to just get up to speed. This is what's going on. At the time, my name was Eric, and I was working on a career as a comedian. Everything was going well. I had just moved into a new apartment that was situated between two large graveyards. And on that first night, I was working my other job, which was designing websites for companies. And in the midst of designing this website, that's when I died. And I got up from my chair and I looked around and everything looked fake. And I looked back at the chair and there was my body. And so I had to wrap my head around the fact that I had died. So what it was like when I died is that I understood that I was just a character. And I don't know if you've seen the movie The Truman Show. It's where a man is raised from an infant to an adult in a reality that has been manufactured, and he doesn't know that it's been manufactured. So I realized instantly that I was being watched by the universe, by a large amount of people and beings and aliens and spirits, and I understood that, and I had to get up to speed very quickly. I remember laughing a lot. I remember being pleased or relieved that this was actually what was going on. There was a relief flooded me, and then I went back into my body, and from then I flew into a panic, and I ran out of my apartment screaming, left the door open to my apartment, and I went on a journey that would last several days and involve all sorts of adventures, some of which I wrote about in a book called All Things Go. So the proof of spirits keeps getting pounded into me day after day after day after day. And people don't try to disprove or debunk me being a shaman anymore because there's too much evidence to the contrary. I've helped too many people. I've emerged out of very hopeless situations, relying on nothing but spirits. The reason I'm able to talk to you right now is because the spirits have provided me with an avenue to have a computer, have internet access, and to have a motherfucking shaman stick that was created for me by another shaman. And how do I know this other shaman? Well, the spirits matched us up. How do I know other shamans? How do other shamans know me? Why are there people in my life supporting me in being a shaman? Most importantly, the mental health professionals who keep me grounded in the consensus reality. Because I could go full-on shaman if I wanted to. I mean, I could leave this apartment behind and go into the woods and survive solely based on what the spirits will provide to me. Shamans have been doing this for thousands of years. This is nothing new. This should not come as a surprise to anybody who understands that spirits in fact do exist. Now, number one, because it's unwinnable. That psychic test will not allow proof of spirits or proof of psychic abilities to be revealed. It won't happen. And so in the beginning, in the early days of my initiation, where I thought I was a psychic and a medium, and I was doing psychic readings for people and getting paid for it, people encouraged me to take that test where I could win $1 million. And so, but I looked at the nature of that test. So if you take that test, James Randi owns you. He owns your story. so you won't be able to write a book about your story. If you pass that test, you become a psychic prisoner to James Randi. And so no psychic or magician or medium in their right mind would ever agree to take that test, because it is designed to put you under the influence of a master psychic magician who is James Randi. James Randi knows that psychic abilities exist, and in fact, psychic abilities have already been proven by the CIA. So the CIA, our government, knows that psychics exist, and so if you're a spirit worker or a psychic who's doing work publicly, especially on the internet, you're already being watched by the government, because they want to know what you know, and that's just part of it. So in some respect, we psychics and spirit workers and shamans in America, we're already working for the government. Because so anyway, but back to James Randi and proof of spirits. In my life, I've understood that when I've tried to provide proof of spirits to skeptics or non-believers or atheists, they've ridiculed it, or they've shamed it, or they just didn't understand it. And in some respects, skeptics and non-believers and debunkers, they're not psychologically set up to be able to handle the evidence of psychic abilities and all that. So you may be experiencing synchro events. Like this morning, I thought the word dog, and I looked out my window, and there was a dog on the street. Just a tiny example about what day-to-day life is like for me. It can drive a girl crazy. It can drive. Spirits are matching me up with people who need my help, support, encouragement. And so people like James Randi, or high-level magicians like James Randi, really want to stomp out shamans. Witches cannot stand shamans. I'm constantly fending off witch attacks and other attacks by sorcerers and magicians. And it's just, I'm like, just give it up, folks. Why? Pay attention to your own magic and your own things. So why does James Randi feel the need to debunk psychic abilities? Because he wants to be the only magician. They're not gonna show themselves to you because you're not worthy of the knowledge of the occult information. So if you're a skeptic and you're trying to debunk somebody, the spirits are not going to play along because you're not worthy of receiving that proof or information. It won't be revealed to you. So skeptics have to understand is that they're not going to be gifted with the experience of non-ordinary reality because they've been deemed unworthy. Here we have a culture where, in America, where interest in the paranormal is very high. America used to be very into spiritism, Ouija boards, divination, and all of that. So America used to be more interested in it than they are today, but we're seeing a move towards spiritism again, towards spirituality, where ration and logic and reason and science and medicine, those things are failing people. I'm telling you, psychiatry is falling on its face right now. Almost every day there's new research and a new article talking about how dangerous psychiatrists and psychiatry are. That we've allowed this sort of infectious disease called psychiatry to run rampant, so that people may not be mentally ill, that they may just be experiencing spiritual phenomena. So if you're a skeptic and you're experiencing spiritual phenomena, you're going to go see a psychiatrist, and that psychiatrist is going to deem you psychotic, and that's how that's going to go. And then you're going to be prescribed medications which fuck up your liver and cause you to have suicidal thoughts. You may end up killing yourselves. A lot of people in psychiatric care end up killing themselves, and we still think this is working. We still think so. If just one person kills themselves due to a psychiatrist, aren't we alarmed at that at all? But people are killing themselves in great numbers. People on medications are killing themselves in great numbers. But let's look at the numbers in regards to shamanism. Who's killing themselves because they saw a shaman? Nobody. Not one person. is killing themselves because but then skeptics, like my ex-boyfriend committed suicide, so people, skeptics, love to say that I somehow had a hand in that, and I'm like, we weren't even talking when he did it. We weren't even on speaking terms. How could I be responsible for something that I'm not involved in? So people don't try to debunk me anymore. They like to portray me as being dangerous. Because the people that come to me have been failed by psychiatry. They have been failed by other people. They are awakening in a toxic environment and they don't know what to do. And so they seek me out and they get to know me through my videos, through my blog, and then they decide to work with me. And it's really up to them. And if somebody doesn't want to work with me, I'm not out there holding guns to people's heads, forcing them to watch my videos or to even listen to me. And in fact, in my real life, I'm ignored easily as the weird little guy who thinks he's a shaman. And actually that's my superpower, my ability, because I'm just a crazy fool talking nonsense. And so I'm allowed to be a shaman because according to the consensus reality, I'm just psychotic. So James, and see, we occult people, we know James Randi is a high-level magician. We know this. We're aware of this. We know this. And so when somebody says, why don't you take the $1 Million Psychic Challenge? We're like, you know, why don't I play the lottery? Why don't psychics play the lottery? Well, because we all know that having that amount of money would open us up to further inquiry about our psychic abilities. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why psychics don't play the lottery, and it's because we would be convicted of fraud. If psychics played the lottery, we would be convicted of fraud because we would have used our psychic abilities to win the lottery, and we'd end up in jail. So in my case, if I were to win the lottery or receive a lot of money, I know that I would be under great scrutiny as to exactly how I won the lottery. And I don't want or need a ton of cash. As long as I have enough money in my pocket to buy a burrito, I'm happy. So there you have proof of spirits. If you need proof of spirits, look deeply into my eyes and see that I am here because the spirits allow me to exist and to speak and to help you. I love you all so incredibly much. Have a wonderful day. Bye.